I would like to welcome you to the Ivy League.
No, man, everybody live like this out here? It ain't like this in California. No, it ain't like All right, sneaking up on the man.
Let's see.
Dream Home Inspection.
Okay, so this is Curtis with the Ivy League, and we have Jacques Mountain here. He's the owner of Dream Home Inspections, owner of a mold restoration company, also a mentor. And last but not least, he also does the Mountain Minute.
Yeah, help people with marriage and relationships.
Marriage and relationships.
Yes, sir.
So you get a lot done in the course of the week. How did we get here, man? Let's just start with how you got to this point in your journey of becoming the person you are right now in the industry.
So 2006. Really is credit to my wife, how I got into the industry. She became a loan officer. I was working a warehouse job, and she closed her first loan, and her first check was bigger than my whole month's pay.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, okay, how can I get into real estate? Because I wanted to make a transition. So that was really my spark, just seeing her step out from her full-time job to go into a commission-based job. So from there, took the home inspection course, and I think at that point I thought I knew something, but I really didn't. I didn't coming out the home inspection course. You're like, man, okay, all this goes on in the house, but you really don't know how to apply it.
Right, for sure.
So I know one of the things that you and I have talked about in the past is, if you're a brand new inspector, you definitely need a mentor.
For sure. Yeah. As a new home inspector, what do you suggest for that new home inspector? The first thing they do to break into the industry?
So number one, and I know we're, we've talked off camera already, guys. We know each other for a long time. Okay, so number one would be that marketing piece.
Yeah.
Because you got to get your name out there. When it comes to marketing, I teach, I teach home inspectors as well. I'm training here in Georgia. We talk about three things when it comes to marketing. Know me, like me, trust me. If people don't know you, they never have a chance to like you. And if they don't like you, they never have a chance to trust you. They have to know that you're in the business. And I know some great inspectors. I know guys who know more than me. They've been in construction and years of experience more than I do, but they don't have more impact in the market. More people don't know that they're out there.
Right.
So nobody's ever going to call you for something that they don't know that you do.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's number one in any type of business or being an entrepreneur, right? I think the art of owning a business is marketing. That's the number one, right?
Yes.
So you have to be able to get your face out there, let people know that you're even there, and you could be the best home inspector, plumber, electrician, but if no one knows you're there, the average person who has average skills are going to surpass you every time.
Oh, yeah.
With great marketing.
Exactly. There is a company here based in Atlanta. You may have heard of it out there called Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do we know Chick-fil-A across the country? They're going to say, my pleasure. They're going to make it a nice thing when you come. That is their calling card. Yeah. So we know them for that. That is their marketing. They did the cows for a while. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about silly things that bring people attention. Yeah. So you can be the greatest and the best. You could have read the book, studied, passed the exam with flying colors. But if you don't market it properly, the phone's not going to ring.
Right.
But nobody really sits down and says, man, we're going to have a 1-hour session on how to build your business.
Right.
Which is what most guys need.
Yeah.
They need the phone to ring.
They do.
And I know you've done an excellent job of marketing. But then some of that comes from your background as well.
Yeah. As I told you a little earlier, I had a t-shirt company, right? Mm-hmm. This is back, I'm going to tell my age right now, but this is back before the internet and social media. There was some, but it wasn't used as a marketing tool back then. So being able to get in front of people to promote my brand was really hard. I had to do door hangers. I had to show up at different events, like motorcycle events. It was like motorcycle t-shirts.
Right.
Different events and stuff that I had to do. And then once social media came through and I was able to basically set up a website on social media, I was like, this is genius. All I have to do is set up a website, or set up an Instagram page or Facebook page, and I can market to people. And I started to grow from
there. And see, and when you tell me that, what I look for and what I hear is the intangibles. because a lot of people start stuff, but then they don't realize the phone's not just going to ring.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you talking about door hangers, you know, that was years back, and I was doing the same thing. You know, when I started this home inspection business, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram. I was passing out flyers by hand to realtors. If you wanted to know a realtor, you had to go and meet them, not follow them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You couldn't text them, you couldn't direct DM them. You had to go to the meetings and meet people. And so one of the things, you know, I would remind a brand new inspector or even a seasoned inspector is remember why you got into the business. What's your why behind what you do? Because once you start the business, it's going to be those slow seasons that we've seen. And this is going to drive you through that. This is going to be like, you know what? I know October typically through January is the slow time, as we've heard. But I'm going to make sure I ramp up my marketing in the summer. I'm going to make sure that my name is out there. I'm going to hit some more meetings, to prepare for those times.
Now, you hit the nail on the head. Now is the time to do it, right?
There you go.
Keep in mind, everyone, it's slow, so a lot of people don't have dispensable funds to advertise. But now is the time you need to step up your social media game.
Yes.
Now is the time you need to shake hands, kiss babies, show up as much as you possibly can. Maybe find some cheap giveaways that you can, use for marketing.
Yes.
I use Amazon a lot, but anything from stickers to anything, whatever you can do to get in front of more people.
Yeah. We used to do, I used to do what's, if y'all have ever done this, I used to use what's called a candy house. You ever heard of that?
I think I have.
Okay.
I've heard
Get the little paper mache house from like, I don't know, Amazon, what's the name of these people? Better Homes and Gardens or somebody. Okay. It's just a little paper house, 12 inches high. You can take the roof off of it.
Oh, okay.
And we fill it up with candy.
Oh, okay.
But you paint the roof, you paint it black, you paint it red, you put your name on it, and then you fill it up with Reese's Pieces, peppermints, M&Ms, and you leave it in the real estate office.
Okay.
So what happens is the agents like candy, they like little snackables, and they have to go into your little house with your name and logo on it.
Right.
And so it's just an easy marketing thing because they're in the house all the time. I mean, in the office all the time.
Right.
Yeah. So some of them will eat up all the stuff and be like, when you gonna bring some more candy? I'll be like, when you gonna give me some inspections?
Right. Exactly. Or the office lady at the front will eat them all.
Yeah.
You know what? So I have a buddy. He's actually in Texas, and he just started a new home inspection business. And I told him, don't go to a real estate office if you're not invited, right? So that was because you're gonna waste your time. And the reason I told him that is I know a lot of times you will give things to the front desk and it never gets to the back, right? They already have their realtors. But my strategy for getting into the office, which I think may work a little bit better, is as you're driving around and you see for sale signs or whatever, make sure you add that person to your Instagram. And you want to build a relationship, right? As far as people you know, like, and trust. Yes. So they want to see that you have an Instagram page, see that you've done some things, even if it's nothing more than checking an outlet. But as you're commenting on their page, offer them exactly what you're saying. It's like hey, I can do like a free home inspection seminar at your house, at your office.
Yes.
And then you can take in that paper mache candy thing and leave it. And all you're doing is just say, hey, this is who I am. Here's some candy and some sandwiches, and then here's my marketing materials, and then you explain some of the new things, right? Right. It gives you a little bit more authority, and they're like, oh man, someone likes this guy enough to bring him in the office.
Now, do y'all do vendor programs in California?
I heard about the vendor programs here. It's explain what it is.
Okay, so Keller Williams, and maybe you can check with them. But Keller Williams here in the South is the most inspector friendly. I mean, they are real easy. So a vendor program is basically you go into the office. Yolanda's at the front desk, and you say, hey, Yolanda, do you all have a vendor program? A vendor program is you basically pay a fee, and they list you on their website of vendors. And they'll have 3 home inspectors, 3 insurance people, 3 pest control. They'll have 3 of everything. Okay. But you're really partnering with that office to do the things that they do in the community. Okay. Now, when you pay the fee, now this gives you, West Ivy, and one other person access to the office. So anything we drop off actually makes it to the back. Because we can go to the back.
Oh, okay.
So when they have team meetings on Wednesday mornings, you can say, hey, Miss Yolanda, who's signed up for the next team meeting? Oh, nobody signed up. Well, you guys can come. So then West Ivy comes, and then we give out the tape measures. We set up the candy house, bring Chick-fil-A. It allows us access to the whole meeting.
Now, see, that's a jewel that anybody outside of California can use because that's something that we don't have in California.
Wow.
So anyone can stop at any time and drop stuff off. It will never make it to the back, you know what I mean? Because someone has to really like invite you in. So knowing that there's a vendor list that you can actually get on, it's kind of huge. I think a lot of people don't really know that
been huge
outside of California.
Oh yeah.
When I talk to a couple of other guys that you mentor, they explain that mentor program to me, and we have nothing like that in California.
Wow.
They do have to offer 3 home inspectors, you know, and allow the client to choose. But it's not a list that you pay to get on.
Oh, wow.
It's just you're on the list. If you've done a good job and they like you, they'll put you on the list.
Okay.
You know, so,
Totally
and
different.
each agent will have their own list.
Exactly.
Right. So is that how it is here? So even though it's a bit,
Even though there's an office list, the agents can still go and choose their own inspector.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is how it ends up working though. Okay, let's just say you got your seasoned agents 5 years and above, but all of the ones who just came out of school,
Right.
they're just going off of the office list.
Mhm.
Well, here's West Ivy, here's Dream Home. I'm gonna just use one of them because this is safe.
Right. We know
The
that they do
office
the
is
job.
promoting them.
Right.
Right. So then, and I mean, I guess this could go a whole nother way here about what I'm about to go with. And then this is how you continue to build your business. I've been in business 17 years. We do a lot of home inspections. You know, I'm trying to keep up with West Ivy. We're just doing a lot of them. But what I realized is I've actually grown with some people through their entire career. You know what I'm saying? So these brand new agents, they know nobody. They just know who the office is saying is good or who they met or the thing. And so now and this is just me talking, I teach them how to inspect.
You teach the agents.
I teach the agents.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because I was going to piggyback off of what you said, but that's really key too for a new home inspector to meet a new agent.
Yes.
You become the first point of contact for a live home inspection.
Yes.
So that's your opportunity to shine. I was at a home inspection. They thought the house had AC, and the agent and the buyer were both so perplexed. Why? There's no AC. I could have sworn they said there was AC. And I said, oh, you know what gets confusing is when they list it, they list forced air unit. A lot of people believe forced air unit means that there's an AC. It's just describing the type of unit. So you have like a whole house system. That's a forced air unit. That doesn't mean you have AC. Oh, thank you for explaining that. Because for the agent, that would have been a phone call.
Oh, for sure.
To the listing agent, like, hey, you said the house had AC. And I'm like, no, we didn't. So now the agent would kind of look like a fool in front of the client because they're asking for something that's
Well,
not
if they
there.
close on that house thinking they got AC.
Right, exactly.
It's about to be a lot of phone calls.
Yeah.
And that's y'all don't really have basements out on the West Coast,
No.
right? Okay. So one of the things that we have here in the South, of course, is basements. And a lot of the older homes are built out of masonry blocks.
Okay.
And you familiar with masonry block?
Yep.
Okay. As soon as it gets wet, you can tell it's been wet.
Right.
And so here in Georgia and in the South, they come in and they paint the walls white to try and cover up the water intrusion.
Right.
So I tell my agents, anytime you see painted walls, painted concrete, it's an automatic red flag. Just go ahead and take your buyer and go. And they're like, really? I said, yeah, because they're just trying to cover up the water intrusion. You know, I said, I know you guys have the bad fireplaces out there.
Right.
In San Diego, we have, the bad roofs here.
Right.
So those type of things help separate us from the other inspectors.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the more you can educate that agent coming in, it will be more likely that you can retain that agent.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I got agents I've been working with, man, now 12 and 15 years, and she'll tell her clients, she'll like, look, when you get the report, it's gonna have loose gutters, dirty gutters, loose toilets, loose fixtures, GFCI don't trip in the bathroom. She's like, the first 15 things are like the norm.
Right.
She's like, when we see something in red, a Federal Pacific panel, or polybutylene pipes, she said, we got a concern.
Right. Oh man, you're hitting all this stuff.
They done read the report 100 times. They know what you're gonna call out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's your opportunity to shine. And for that new home inspector to save the deal, save the day, and now be the.
And I will say another thing for a new home inspector too. We're natural competition. You're not competing against us. There are so many houses selling out there. It's more than enough business for everybody. Try and make friends in the industry. That has helped a lot because you're gonna need help. You're gonna need somebody to help you at some point in time. You're gonna need somebody to text a picture to and say, hey, is this right or wrong? Right. And then even for the newer guys, I'll actually look over their reports.
Oh, that's it.
I'll say, hey man, this is your first inspection. Let me look at your report.
Yeah.
Hey man, did you realize this picture is blurry? Right. Hey, you didn't put in here what kind of water heater, what size, where it was low.
Right.
I'll help them because it's like I want to see you succeed.
Yeah, that's huge in this industry, man.
For sure.
A lot of people will help you out and give you a lot of good information, And we met on social media,
exactly.
Right? So, of course, I live in California, and you live here in Atlanta, and we've talked for years.
Seemed like we knew each other. Like, so you walked in the door. Hey, man, hey.
Yeah, we've talked for years on social media, and I had the opportunity to come out here and actually meet you. And man, you just helped me a lot, and I truly appreciate all the stuff that you've given to me and all the tips and stuff. So I appreciate that, man.
Yes,
but the power of social media, the power of networking is huge, right?
Yes.
You know what? I'd speak about networking with like plumbers and electricians, and how has that helped you through your career?
So let me tell you how it hurt me at first. So you know how we're trained in the home inspection training, refer everything to a qualified professional.
Right.
So I started realizing that people would call qualified professionals, but they didn't know what we did. Well, your inspector should have told you this wasn't up to code.
Right.
Well, this is a 1999 home. It's not going to be up to code.
Right.
And now you got my client looking at me crazy because you're telling them it's not up to code, and I should have told them. So I started getting basically thrown under the bus by vendors, by other people.
Right.
So then I started referring my own heating and air person, my own electrician, my own plumber, and everybody I refer, I use here in my own house.
Yeah.
So I don't have no questions about it. And then, if you're making brand new relationships with outside vendors, make sure they know what you do. I did have an HVAC guy one time. He told a client something, and she called me and said, well, your guy said X.
Right. And he was almost contradicting what you said.
And I called him and I said, tell me what I do on a home inspection with the HVAC system.
Right.
And the first thing out his mouth was, oh, you make sure it's up to code. I said, no, I do not.
Yeah, we don't inspect for code.
No, I said, I make sure it's functional. And if I see problems, I refer them to you to get it fixed.
Right.
And I said, when you fix it, you have to do what the code requires because it's brand new.
Right.
Not me.
And that's the whole point of a home inspection, right? We're step number one. So we're looking at the system overall just to see if there's any defects. And then when the qualified professional comes, that's what they do every day.
There you go.
So they're gonna go even further and even deeper into it. So of course, I would hope they would find more stuff than what we found.
Exactly.
Right? But to throw you under the bus and say, like, hey, why did he miss this? Or this should have, well, he did his job, which was to refer you.
And that's why I refer my own people.
Yeah.
Because, and the other part of it is, and here's the safe part of it is, we're all growing, we're all still learning. And I've had my HVAC guy call and say, hey, man, next time you go out, look for this.
Right, yeah.
My electrician said, well, hey, you know what? This was wired like this. You couldn't see it, but that's the problem here at this house. So you still are learning. But at the same time, nobody's trying to make you look bad. Yeah.
I use my guys too for education, like you said, right? So, hey, what's the new things coming out of plumbing? What do you think I should have looked for out here, right? So he's like, oh, these wires should have been sealed. Any plumbing outside should have been covered, or whatever it may be, right?
All of that.
So I use that as training to talk to my guys.
And another thing I would recommend for a new home inspector, ask some old home inspectors for some old reports. I learned so much that first year. I got certified in September, so I went right into the slow season.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would just ask guys to send me reports. So I would read reports and be like, oh, that's a problem? Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I learned a lot just reading reports.
Right.
And then when I finally came out that next spring, I was like, I do so much. He was like, okay, sir, all right, we get it. Yeah. So look, let's talk about what happens when the inspection goes wrong.
Ooh, I like that. You know what? I want you to address that because I'm going to start and I want you to finish. Okay.
All right.
So, as a small business, right, when things go wrong, normally what we do is we just go out to the property. We see if it's something that we didn't include into the report. And then from that point, we'll take care of it, right? That's a small mom and pop solution for a big problem. I know you guys may have a more refined way to address issues like that. What is the technique that you use to actually address callbacks?
All right. So number one, we get the callback. We have a form that we send to the client. We will let you address whatever it is that you say is wrong.
Guys, please take notes on this. This is priceless right here.
So, all right. So Mrs. Johnson called. She's mad. Hey, I'm here. My water heater just failed. You guys didn't put it in the report. Blah 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 blah. Oh, all right, Ms. Johnson. We hear you, and I want to talk to the owner. I want to talk to somebody about a refund right now. Okay, well, we hear your complaint, but we do have a form that we'd like you to fill out first, and then we can address it properly. Okay. So you send Mrs. Johnson the form. The form is probably about 15 questions, but it asks the key questions that we want Mrs. Johnson to pay attention to. Number one, what was the date of the inspection? You guys inspected on July the 5th, because I remember it was right after the holidays. All right, and what's today's date? Oh, it's October the 1st. So August, September, so it's been 90 days.
Right.
Since we've been there.
Right.
90 days.
A lot can go on in 90
That
days.
can go on in 90 days. And when did you move in? Well, I moved in on the 10th of July, so you've been living there for 80 days. So, number two, did you read the report?
Right.
Yes, I read the report. Okay, well, can you tell us on what page it said that you had a water heater that was past its lifespan? It was already in the report.
It was already there.
All right. Number four, did you ask the seller to repair anything at the home? If not, why didn't you ask them to repair the water heater? Number five, did you get a reduction in the price of the home? Did you use the report as a part of the reduction of the price?
That's a really good one, right? Because the cost of an average inspection, let's say anywhere from $400 to $500, the reduction of the price of the home for sure is going to be more than $400 or $500.
And you used our report for that. So basically what we're showing them is the report had value too.
Had value.
Did they clean the gutters for you? Did they tighten up toilets? Did they add fixtures? Did they do anything we put in that report for any amount? You got your money for it.
You got your money's worth. You definitely got your $400 or $500.
So you got to fill out the form, send it back to us. We read the form, and then based on the form, we'll just say, hey, it's a visual inspection. These things were addressed in your report. We're sorry this happened to you. Maybe you should look into your home warranty. Now, let's go a step further. Something's major. You guys really missed this. Okay, so first thing I do is my inspection agreement says, and this is why inspectors know what your inspection agreement says. Please, read your own inspection agreement. Because I have so many guys that are like, what's your inspection agreement say? I don't know. My inspection agreement says you have to contact me in writing, not cuss me out on the phone.
Okay.
My inspection agreement says that you have to give me 72 hours to come out there before you fix it.
Okay.
So if you call me on Monday and you fix it on Tuesday and I couldn't get there till Wednesday, I have no way of knowing there was a real problem here.
Right. That's true. Yeah, so, you do need an ample amount of time for you to be able to get
so
there.
I'm not stopping my 3 inspections a day to come and check on your problem at your convenience.
Right. That makes sense. I like that.
And you have to stand up because, and I'll go a little further with it. If I get there and it's fixed and all you're saying is, hey, here's a $417 receipt for repairing of this pipe, I don't know that the pipe was wrong anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So I stand behind my inspection agreement. Well, we're going to sue you. We want a refund. All right. So 2 things. If I get there, the pipe really was messed up. My guy didn't see it. Okay. I will refund your money after you sign a waiver of liability.
Right.
Not gonna sue me. We're never hear this again. Me, my clients, blah 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 blah. Everybody's good.
And that waiver of liability releases you for the entire inspection. Anything else
after this, we are
not
done.
only that problem, it's anything else that arises out of that problem.
Yes, we are done after this point. And I've had guys who give the money back, and then the people call them back later about something else.
Something else. Yeah, always make sure I get a release of liability.
Yes, and then
I forgot to say that.
In the event they decide, okay, we don't like your resolution. This is a $1,200, $1,600 repair. The electrician is saying you missed it. The plumber, the roofer, whoever. And they decide they want to sue, then that's why the inspection agreement has been signed before the inspection, and I'm calling my insurance.
Yeah, and let them deal with it from there.
But I very rarely, ever give a refund.
That's good.
Ever. I'm gonna sue. I'll Better Business Bureau. I'll bad Google review you. No problem, because we did our job.
Yeah,
and that's the beauty of working with people like us. We don't play inspections.
Right.
We don't play home inspections. We really check every outlet.
Right.
We really open every window. We really crawl in crawl spaces. We really climb on roofs. We really get in attics.
Right.
So for you to call me back and tell me I didn't do something,
right.
I'm taking it to heart because I really did the inspection.
Right. Yeah.
I really did it. I'm really in the Tyvek suit with the respirator on, with my flashlight, my good camera. Like I'm really inspecting this house. And so you calling me back about a $40 problem.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and
that's some good jewels right there.
Yeah.
I think the sending the form out, asking if they've used their home warranty, allowing you to access the property to look at the repairs or the potential problem. That's all very, very important because there's been situations in the past where things like that have just kind of got pushed back. And this is when I was in insurance. And the longer it takes for you to respond to someone, if you don't get back to their complaint right away, the worse it is, right? So you want to jump on it right away. And if you have that form, it lets them know right away that, hey, your concern is valid. Or, yeah, your concern is valid. I want to make sure that I address it right away.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that by sending this form and then give me 72 hours to get out there.
And if they do not fill out the form, that is the end of our communication.
Yeah.
Because we've had people do it. I don't know the answers to all these questions. Why does it take all that to just come out here and see a pipe that's leaking? Because this is our system.
It's our system.
And this is not the way you want it done. It's the way we do it.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of times there may be some double dipping too, right? So they will have you come out to take a look at it, to pay the $200 for the, refrigerator that's not working, but they're going to turn around and request for it to be repaired through their home warranty, and the cost for the deductible is $200. So you're basically paying their deductible to get it fixed.
Yep.
You see what I mean? When it never really was your issue to begin with.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's when you need a mentor once again, because when I've had problems in the past, early on in my career, I would call other inspectors.
Yeah.
Hey man, this just happened to me. This is what they said. This is what I put in the report. What do you think?
Right.
And I've had someone say, well, hey, you know what? You kind of messed that up.
Right. Yeah.
Get a waiver. Go ahead and pay for that and be done with it. And then I've had some who said, well, do you value the relationship of the real estate agent? If it's somebody you really value, you feel like the client might have something valid, maybe you want to preserve the relationship with the realtor and kind of take care of it.
Yeah.
But if they're just blatantly outright, didn't read the report and just trying to get you to fix stuff, you're like, no, don't do it. Yeah.
So explain to me, a little switch gears here, your mentoring program. And I've met 3 guys already who've been through your program,
right?
And they're all out there inspecting and doing very well now. Explain how you came up with that, or what would you like to say about your mentoring program that you think is most impactful?
So we come up with stuff based on what we've gone through. I got certified. I got on the national, I'm gonna call it the national organization list here in local Atlanta, and I started calling inspectors, just looking for somebody to help me. Hey, calling West Ivy. Hey man, you think I could do a ride along with you guys? Who are you? You're an inspector. Okay, well, you certified. Okay, well, you're the competition. I can't help you.
Yeah.
So after you get that 15, 16, 17 times, it's like, wow. Well, how do I get trained? I got the certificate, but now what?
Right.
So lo and behold, I did get with a group of guys who were willing to help me, took me under their wings, trained me. And then as the years progressed, once I started becoming a home inspection teacher and trainer, I didn't want the people to have to go out and look for anybody. I wanted to be that person. So I was like, hey, you took the course at this price, but if you really want another 30 days of just hands-on inspections, here's another price. So that way, once you leave our program, you've got hands-on experience and book knowledge. You know how to write the reports. You got your insurance, your LLC. You are a full-fledged business when we send you out.
Wow. So you'll provide them with, you'll help them get the insurance, the LLC, all that stuff. You said you'll look over their reports.
Yeah. And then when they get their first inspection, if possible, I'll send somebody with them.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I got, a number of inspectors around the city, and I'll say, hey, look, you're on the south side, this guy's got his first inspection. Hey, Curtis, can you go with him? And they'll go with him.
Wow.
And when they go, we're there supporting his business. Like, we don't wear shirts with our name on it. We come out there with a black T-shirt, Ice Cube, just black top to bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're just there to support.
Yeah.
And I've done it many times. And they'll be like, man, you got me right. I'll be like, yeah, like this your inspection. And if I see something, I'll be like, hey, Charles, right here. Take a picture of this and go tell them X, Y, and Z. Because I want Charles to look good. This is Charles' inspection.
Right.
We're building his business.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we want people to be successful. We don't want to just give them a certificate. And that's what we should call the program. We say, I got my certificate, now what?
Oh. So the name of the program was called what? Now what?
Now what? You got you're certified, now what?
Certified, now what?
Because you don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's
And I get people call from all of the national programs, all of the online programs, all these people that serve 10, 15,000 trained inspectors a year, and they get the certificate, and then they're like, well, what do I do?
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people who come into the industry where they fall off, because they'll get certified or licensed, they'll start doing inspections, they'll get those callbacks, and now they have to pay for that refrigerator or water heater. And now they're looking at, wow, I did this inspection for $400. Now I have to spend $1,000 on a water heater. I did this, and now I got to spend $200 on this. And you're like, man, I'm not making any money because number one, I'm not staying busy. And number two, I'm spending more money on things that I'm missing. So it's worth it just to cut your losses, get yourself a mentor, so then you know that you're not missing anything.
There you go. Yeah. And from there, one of the first things we teach our students coming out of school is marketing.
Right.
That is the first thing I tell them. I don't care if you can quote the code book and the Internachi website.
Right.
If nobody calls your phone, it's for nothing. So we start them off with all of the basic stuff. And I won't go far off into this, but it's two ways I tell them to market. You market, number one, direct to the public.
Okay.
Because I don't always want to be eating out of a realtor's hand.
Right.
So I need to be on Instagram, Facebook, all of the places that are free.
Right.
And then the other side is I have to go directly to the agents because they are in contact with buyers.
With buyers, yeah.
But I don't want anybody in total control of my business.
For sure.
So if a realtor gets mad at me and cuts me off and I hate the way you did that last inspection, okay, great. But I'm also going to the public. So I'm bringing in people who are unbiased. I don't know if y'all do this on the West Coast. Home buying seminars. Y'all still do home buying seminars?
Yeah, still do.
We do those.
Yeah.
I have a guy, fortunately at this point in my business, he teaches them for me.
Okay.
But we do like 6 a month.
I know, I see. I see, yeah. That's good. That's really good.
And that's direct to the public.
And it's a realtor, loan officer, right? And they're just explaining to people.
Yeah, the home buying process. And so what happens is, if I win the buyer over, they're going to use me.
Wait a minute. How many of those do you do a month?
6.
6 a month? Jeez, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really
good. That's
good.
A constant referral base because I won the buyer, they used us, and then sometimes I win the realtor. Not all the time.
Yeah.
Because you be like, okay, well, you were good, but I work with West Ivy. Oh, I know West Ivy, they're great. Just glad I had a chance to work with you, and then here's my line. If West Ivy is ever booked, feel free to use us as a backup.
Yep.
That is my line with every realtor because you're not going to just come up to somebody and jump into the first space.
No. Yeah, and that's how I got started was in the middle of the pandemic. Everyone else was booked. So I was getting everyone's run over or run off. And then that's what kept me busy is just so many buyers on the market that they needed home inspectors.
I will gladly be your backup person. And that comes off more humble because I got realtors I've worked with for years, just like you have. They're not gonna just up and just leave you if they work with somebody they don't know.
Right. That's
and
true.
And man, like I said, we could do this as a whole seminar. And real estate is relationships. I'm gonna say it again. Real estate is relationships. Real estate is relationships. These are real people who have real bills, real mortgages, real children. They want to make sure they're giving their client the best inspection possible because their commission and their stuff borders on the stuff we say in
That's true.
you know? So.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up there.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you, Jacques, all the way from Atlanta.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Jacques. I truly appreciate you.
Oh,
man.
thank you, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
We're out.